Let me get myself straight here. All right. It's Dr. Kre. Hey, Sharika. How you doing? Thanks for joining. We're going to give it about 4 minutes before we get started. So tag somebody that needs to hear this message, please, and invite them on in the room. Turn my sound down on my phone so we're not disturbed. So it is 7:01. We're gonna get started about 7:05. Hey Tanya, how you doing? Thanks for joining with me tonight. Make sure to tag a friend. They need to know if all of the traumatic events here lately is adding to their anxiety. So tag a friend, tag a friend, tag a friend. We're going to get started about 7:05. Okay, 7:02. There's 3 people here. Somebody else is here. Let's see. Who else came in? I can't tell who that is. Okay, when you get here, announce yourself. There we go. All right. We're going to give everybody about 3 more minutes. Hey, Ann, how are you doing? We're going to get started in about 2 more minutes. And we are going to talk about how the stress-related events in the news could be actually causing you more anxiety. Or just anxiety in general. If it is, a lot of people may not know. Hey, Mama Rudolph. Y'all tag somebody and share the link, please. Because I think this is very important in light of all of the things that have been going on this weekend in Charlottesville, Virginia. Oh, yes, I can see what's going on. Okay. Okay, it's 7:03. 7:03. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome any newcomers. So please put your name in the link when you get here and tag a friend. Share the post. We're gonna get started at about 7:05. Thank you, Ann, for sharing the video. And I need somebody that's going to take my notes because the 4 things that we're going to talk about tonight, I do want you to write them in the comments. So when people go back and look, they'll actually have the comments listed there. All right. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Kre. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. We'll be getting started in about 1 minute. So tag your friends, share the post, and we'll get started in about 45 seconds or so. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Dr. Kre and me. It is August 14th, and we're going to be talking about are you getting some anxiety from all of the things that are going on in the news and just seeing the same footage over and over and over again on the news, on social media, going to work, at the water cooler, everybody's talking about it. So we are going to have that little chat tonight. Yep, we'll start in a moment. And yep, actually, hey, Miss Kisa, thanks for joining. So it's 7:05, y'all, so it's time to get started. You know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I am a board-certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in what's important to you. Through my practical tips, I help to educate you, the patient, and empower you to be stronger, healthier, wiser, and to make better decisions about your health. So this is about empowerment. So tonight we are going to talk about 4 ways to try and see if seeing all the extra traumatic events on the news that we get inundated with on social media, on the radio, everybody's talking about it. You remove your water coolers for this week. Good, thank you. So we're going to talk about if anxiety can be attributed to some of the feelings that we're hearing, because I know that everyone is very emotional this week. I know that we watched prayer on Saturday morning, and prayer went off and Jay turned the TV up, and I was like, what is going on the news? What is happening? They were talking to, I think the lady was named Reverend Tracy Bacon. I don't know what her last name was. Blackman, Reverend Tracy Blackman. And in the middle of her conversation, hey Angie, in the middle of her conversation, the bodyguards came and got her and just brushed her away. And so we're watching it live, and I was like, what is happening? So we got up and got ready to get on with our day. And I told him, I said, oh my gosh, man, they are carrying big old guns like in the middle of the street. And as I said that, the newscaster was like, as you can see, there are tons of men walking around with guns being carried. If you're concerned about this or wondering, Virginia is an open carry. You can carry your guns out in the open. It's an open carry state. So I was like, what is going to prevent something bad from happening? You have these men out here, they're carrying their guns, and I'm sure they're loaded guns, because I learned how to shoot a gun recently, y'all. Sure did. And the man said, don't pull your gun out unless you plan on using it. So I'm thinking about things I learned. I'm like, they got guns. This could be a recipe for disaster. So that's why I felt like we need to talk about anxiety this week, and if some of the emotions that we were feeling were actually starting to be some anxiety related feelings. So one, let's talk about the definition of anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of feeling tense and worryful thoughts and having physical changes in response to the increasing of your blood pressure kind of goes up. You start to have that feeling, feel like your heart is beating fast. You start getting short of breath, trying to catch your breath. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for joining. Starting to catch your breath, and you know, your hands are sweaty. You kind of get that nervous stomach, and you just kind of nauseated, and you just like, I'm not sure what's happening, but there's some kind of physiological response. And it may have been that the car in front of you stopped really, really fast. You get all that sensation because you're anxious. You're taking your Xanax already. Yes. So you get all worked up, and then you need something to kind of help bring you back down. It's kind of like the flight or fight situation that we learned all the way back in grade school in science. So people with anxiety disorders usually have reoccurring intrusive thoughts of being overly concerned and maybe out of proportional to what the next person would be having concern for. So if I'm not an anxious personality, the things of the world and the things, everyday things, may not necessarily rub me the wrong way as it does an anxious person. So you may not necessarily know that you are anxious personality. So let's talk about it and see if we really are. They usually cannot help but to worry. If you have an anxious personality, you like worry about all kind of things, you know, it's raining outside, you just got your toes done, you really kind of take things to the next level, almost to the calm person for what seems to be no apparent reason. Hey Cookie, thanks for joining. So all we talked about so far is the definition of anxiety, and that is a feeling of feeling tense and worried and having all these thoughts inside of your head, and your body responds to that physically. So your blood pressure tends to rise, you get a little flush, your heart starts beating fast, your hands get sweaty, you get a little nauseated, you start to breathe real fast, even hyperventilate. Hey Ashley, hyperventilate. So how do we know that if we're watching the news like this, and if you're like me, the first time that I really realized that the news was kind of bothering me was the Sandra Bland case. I wanted to know everything about Sandra Bland. I wanted to see every single picture that she had, her a mug shot to see was she living or was she not living. You name it, I watched it over and over and over again. And then which started to make me feel super worried of the police. I didn't want to drive. I still don't like to drive now. I didn't want my husband driving nowhere because at the time he drove from Birmingham to Mississippi and Tennessee for work, and I was like, when you driving while black, they're gonna pull you over, and so it was just like such all of these emotions that came just because I was so infatuated with that story. So once you have some anxiety related to excessive news coverage, you begin to have a heightened sense of paranoia. So little things that didn't really bother you before starting to bother you. Like you go into Walmart and you see that all the tiki torches in your town has been removed. You're like, okay, who's buying all these tiki torches? Why are they not there? Because you just saw that all over Facebook. That's all that's plastered over there. That's all that's on CNN. That's all that's on everything. So now you like, who in my neighborhood got tiki torches and why y'all buying them? So you get paranoid about things that you really would not be thinking about. Or you see a group of men out to dinner. They may have gone to play golf that day. They got on white shirts and khaki pants. And you like, I can't eat at Shawnee's today because you know what? They in there and they having a meeting. Something is going on. So you start to get just worked up about things that may be out of proportion for your everyday life, but it's very relevant for the situation. Hey, Vamika, thanks for joining. So number one, somebody type that in the chat. If the anxiety, you can be having anxious tendencies from what you see on the news because of one, you start to have heightened paranoia. And you just keep kind of reliving events in your mind. And you remember that about the tiki torch. You remember that about that lady was just driving. She didn't signal and there the police was. So now you're looking at all police side-eyed when they're really supposed to be here to protect you. But we're really side-eyeing them because you saw what they did on TV. Even though that was one case, we've kind of seen the footage over and over and over again. So it's embedded in our mind. So number one is heightened paranoia. Who gonna type it in the box for me? Type it in the box for me. Number one, you get heightened paranoia. Hey, Eva, I see you there. So number two, you start obsessing over the situation. Like I said, I was doing with Sandra Bland. I knew everything about her birthday, her this. We were speaking her name, you name it, because I had such a mentally, I was so invested in that story, and you were not going to tell me that I could go out, have to drive anywhere. No one was going to make me drive anywhere by myself. Thank you, Eva. So, number one, heightened paranoia. Number two, obsessing over the situation. You're unable to watch the same footage over and over and over again. How many times have you watched that car plow through those people? How many times have you watched it and seen that picture? Oh, you driving. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining. So, how many times have you watched that or seen that picture over and over again of the man that's flying in the air one way and somebody flying in the other, but now it's in your conscious and you just have to keep looking right too many times. So you just keep playing it over in your head. And then any article that's related to this, Charlottesville or Sandra Bland or whoever, Mike Brown, you name it, you start looking at it and looking at it and looking at it and saying, well, see, oh my gosh, they're doing this, and what does alt-right mean? And now it's taking you to this link. So you just can't turn it off. You just can't turn it off. So you're just really obsessing about the situation and really internalizing all of that onto yourself. I'd like to say for no reason, but I feel like in this situation, we do need to be concerned because it's so much happening. Hey, Tammy, thanks for joining. So number one, we got this heightened sense of paranoia. Everybody looks suspicious that look like what we saw on the news. Number two, it's so inundated. Everybody's sharing the pictures. Everybody's going through and reposting and resharing and retweeting, so you can't help it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're starting to identify these men. Let me see if I know any of them. So now you got to go and look at the tweets on yes, you're racist or whatever it is that's out there. And now you're just clicking through like, let me Google that job site. Let me Google his job and see. I went there, I traveled there, I did that. So you have to really be careful that you don't continue to start just adding the burden to yourself, that it will begin to physically affect you. Remember I said anxiety causes you to have some tension, some feelings of worry, and it causes you to have physiological changes too. Your blood pressure go up. You start to sweat. You can't catch your breath. You almost ventilating, you can't get the words out. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to calm myself down, but you really can't because you're so worried, so concerned that your mental concern has caused you to have physical symptoms. And once you're sick here, it can make you, yes, palpitations for sure, can make you physically have symptoms as well. So, number one, heightened paranoia. Number two, obsessing over the situation. Anybody you talk to on the phone, you like, did you see that on the news? Did you see that? Did you see? Let me hang up and call my uncle. Let me tell you, Press, did you see on the news what happened? And everybody has seen it. So you don't have to pick up the phone and add even further to your concern, to your worry, to your fear. Because every time you tell that story, you get mad, you get upset, you start freaking out, it just takes you to that next level. And all of these things aren't good because if you already have high blood pressure, we do not want to make your blood pressure worse by adding anxiety on that, causing it to go up even further. Because uncontrolled high blood pressure can cause strokes, can cause aneurysms, can cause heart attacks. We just want to make sure that you're living and being the healthy you that's not only physically, but that's also mentally. So number three, now you can't sleep at night and you're having bad dreams about an incident that you not necessarily even physically experience yourself. So every time you close your eyes and you see that car plowing through the crowd. Every time you close your eyes, you see, them be-nosed people with sticks and stuff like that. I can only imagine the things that our aunts and uncles and grandparents had to experience. I'm from Marion, Alabama, which is about 20 miles away from Selma, which was the heart of the civil rights movement. So we've heard all these stories. We know of family members that was in jail with Martin Luther King. We know all about that. And it's just like, oh my God, this isn't something that someone is telling us. This isn't just a story, or this isn't just a parable of sorts. This is real life. This is happening, and we're able to turn our TVs on and see it. So that, for me, causes me to have a little bit more stress and a little bit more anxiety because it brings it that much closer to home. So, number one, heightened paranoia. Number two, you're really obsessing over the situation. You got to tell everybody about it. Got to talk about it. You got pretty tiki torches around your backyard. Now this happened, yes. Yes, causing you heightened anxiety because you don't want nobody to pass by your house, see those tiki torches, because I know you live in, some nice neighborhood, and like, who live there? And what they doing in there? We need to go see what's going on. No. You don't want to have to add those thoughts to all of the other many things that you're being concerned about. That's a good point, because she said you might want to get rid of those, right? So at least put them up until this passes, because that's really been one of the big focuses. It's really been one of the big focuses that they went to Walmart or wherever, Target or wherever, and bought these torches, and that are just things that we related to being so innocent. Now it has a negative symbol. I'm not sure if Tiki Torches is just the name of it or if that is actually a brand, because I'm hoping that brand or whoever makes them, Home Depot make them, whoever made them comes out with some kind of statement or something that they don't stand by that this isn't what the torches were made for. Something, give us something here. It won't take back what was done, but it always makes you kind of feel a little bit better that they're thinking about it. Oh, it's just the name of it. It's not the brand. Okay, gotcha. All right, so we said that number three was unable to sleep at night because you're having bad dreams and continuing to relive it. Eva said have them donated. Okay, so yeah, you might need to just pin you up some of those fancy little lights, those that you plug in, that may be a little bit better. Number five is you have physical changes in response to the episode, like I've been talking about what anxiety is in general. That's the sweating, the palpitations, the shortness of breath, hyperventilating, at the thoughts. You don't even have to see it on social media. You don't have to see it on the news, but you hear it and you're like, oh my gosh, or you think about it and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get myself worked up. And that means every young white man isn't a part of that. So now you can stop looking at all of them side eye, like, is he in this or not? You know, we need to try and remember how to give people the benefit of the doubt, because in these times we don't do that. The benefit of the doubt goes out the window quite easily. Oh, we causing Kay anxiety to elevate by talking about her tiki torches. Yes, we do not want that. You need to go take one of your Xanaxes right now, okay? So here are 4 points. Did y'all put number 4 down? That's having physical changes in response to just the idea. So the physical physical changes in response to that idea. So 1, heightened paranoia. 2, obsessing over the situation. 3, unable to sleep at night. And 4, actually having physical manifestations of, of showing outwardness of your anxiety. But we have to be careful that our anxiety doesn't trickle over into something that's called PTSD, which is a acronym for post-traumatic stress disorder. Somebody, please type that in there. PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. So years ago, they thought that in order for you to have post-traumatic stress, you had to be there. You had to physically be there, physically witness the event. And now we're realizing, I think the more research that goes forth, we'll realize that people can actually have post-traumatic stress disorder from all the exposure that we're getting from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and the news, and the news play the same thing over and over and over and over again. So just know that PTSD, that definition is actually a true psychiatric disorder that can occur following or experiencing a very traumatic or life-threatening event. A lot of times this is found in military troops or people that have gone off to the war, rape victims, people that have experienced terrorist attacks. Like this was really prevalent after 9/11. So terrorist attacks, military workers or veterans, soldiers that are in combat, women that have been raped, women that have been kidnapped, people that have been involved in human and sex trafficking schemes or whatever. All of these people can physically have post-traumatic stress disorder. That can have happened. The incident could have happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you still find that you are an adult still living with, say, a molestation, or say watching somebody die. Those are all traumatic things. Hey, Reverend Bell. Hey, Jamila. Thank y'all for joining. So we need to make sure that you're mindful that there are stages to all of this. And just like you have stages to grief, you have stages to being able to deal with this and process the information and make sure that we don't start treating people differently because they look different than us. Just because it's happening there, I mean, it definitely can happen anywhere, but make sure that we're advised, that we know that, God sits high and looks low. I don't know y'all religious affiliation, but that's what I stand by. He sits high, he looks low, and we're just going to believe that we're going to walk out of here and be protected, but we have to be wise in the background of your head. Hey, Bonnie. Wise to know that these things are out here happening and it's affecting us. So Eva says she deleted the apps off of her phone yesterday just to get a break. Yeah, because just think how many of y'all have a lot of the notifications that are coming to your phone. So I did CNN talking about all of this. You're like, okay, CNN, I've kind of had enough. And then you got CNN that's doing it. You got your Facebook notifying you that X amount, whoever shared this and shared that. And it's the same thing. It's just getting replayed in your mind like a bad dream. Okay, let me see what the comments say. Kay said she already did, just waiting on it to hit took your medicine already. This ordeal has caused a lot of anxiety. It has. I would need to take a news break, TV break, social media break, text break, etc. It's all too much. And also I know that people are out there like, you need to look and see how your doctor is reacting, your lawyer is reacting. No, let people got their own feelings. I'm having enough troubles trying to process this on my own. You know, the old people say sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. However they feel, that's between them and they Lord. That's between them and Jesus. But for me, I know that I'm just trying to make it one day at a time. If your anxiety is getting to the point where you are having problems sleeping, not able to get out of the bed, like really getting overly worked up, hyperventilating, you may want to call your doctor and see if they can prescribe something for your anxiety. There are medicines that you can take that are once a day antidepressants / anti-anxiety medicines that can kind of keep you level. But be mindful that those medicines sometimes take up to 6 weeks to be fully active in your system. Hold on, somebody got a question. She said, what I look like calling my lawyer to see if his anxiety is high as mine. No, right. Don't call anybody to see if their anxiety high. I think the thing is like they want to see if your professional is standing up for the cause, or are they being silent, or are they saying, yeah, you go, people, you know, doing their arm or whatever the sign is and all of that. I think it's coming from that mindset, not to see if they're as anxious as you are, but it's more so the fact of, are they speaking out about this injustice? So I would like to say that just don't worry about that. People they got their own things. As long as they offering you a great fee for your service, leave it alone. Just don't go searching for other ways to add to your anxiety, to add to your stress. So as I was saying, if you have starting to have physical symptoms from your anxiety and you're needing to have some more help, there are plenty of counseling places that we highly recommend. In Birmingham, we recommend people to Work in Progress. That is Kre Me. She is a therapist there, and that's who I refer to. I also refer to Grayson and Associates. They have counseling, psychology, and they also have a psychiatrist on board. So if you need medicines right then and there, but you want to do it all in one place, you can go to Grayson and Associates. They have several different locations here in Birmingham. Kre Me is located in Center Point, and we do treatment in conjunction. I'll send people to her. She treats them with the counseling side, and then she sends them back and say, okay, now they're ready for medicine. Because a lot of times people aren't necessarily ready for medicine. They just want to talk about it. Talk it out and have an objective and a safe form. Trump has sent us to the LCSW, Lord have mercy. So yeah, so we want to make sure that you know in your area what opportunities are there out there. Can somebody type that in there? Grayson and Associates in Alabama and Work in Progress in Birmingham are resources that people can use. You can also just call your primary care doctor and say, hey, this is going to be a bit much for me. I need something to kind of take the edge off. I need something to help me rest at night. There are plenty of non-addictive agents out there that you can take. Also know that if you are starting an antidepressant or anti-anxiety medicine, that's one of those everyday medicines that take up to about 6 weeks to get in your system. They may give you something that's short acting, like we've been talking about, the Xanax or the Klonopin or Ativan. Those are short acting medicines that when you're in the middle of having an anxiety attack and it's getting you the best of you right then and there, you can take a tablet or half a tablet and it calms you down. However, that class of medicine is very addictive, and you have to be mindful that we don't want to be on it for long periods of time. We don't want to have to take it every single day. If you do have to take something to get the edge off very quickly, and you're starting to see that you're needing it more often, talk to your doctor about putting you on something every single day that you don't necessarily have to have the as needed medicine. So let's recap. We talked about your anxiety could be getting to you if you have heightened paranoia in places that you didn't find to give you any reason to make you paranoid before. Number 2, obsessing over the situation that you've seen in the news over and over and over and over again. Number 3, if you're unable to sleep at night, having bad dreams about the incident. Number 4, you're having physical manifestations or physical changes in relationship to, I saw the event earlier yesterday, but now the more I think about it, the more excited I'm starting to get. The more I'm starting to physically have palpitations, shortness of breath, the works. So does anybody have, we kind of done a little bit of interaction. Anybody have any questions directly of me before we sign off? Let me know. It's almost 7:30. Any questions? Comments? I think y'all be making your comments. So, hey. I know it's, hey Tara, how you doing? I know she said, I know it's kind of tense up here in Virginia. That's been a topic, and I'm tired of being the main discussion, around you. Yeah, so I think the big thing for you to do is to really make sure to start setting some boundaries. You know, that people start talking about it and say, you know what? Yes, but what are we going to do to move forward? What are we going to move forward? Like, just put it in a positive direction so they can kind of stop talking about it. I'm not sure how far you are from the place, but hopefully you guys can start talking about, hey, where do we go from here? How I'm gonna cause you some anxiety. So I think this session has caused my anxiety on top of my tiki torches and being a politician. Yes, but you're a great politician. You're gonna cause a lot of change in the state of Georgia, and we appreciate you for being there and being the voice of change. So if there are no other questions or concerns, please feel free to share the link, please. And if you here and I didn't speak to you, that's because I didn't know you were here. She said you're gonna get rid of those tiki torches, Kisa. Eva, you're wrong for that. But anyway, so thanks for joining, y'all. But I'm Dr. Kre. You know who I am. I'm a board certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in what's important to you. Through my practical tips and teaching, I help you to feel more empowered, to feel more educated, to go out there and make the best choices and decisions for your health and for yourself. So follow me on Dr. Kre on Facebook at Dr. Kre. That's DOCTORKRE. And I look forward to seeing you on next Monday at 7 o'clock when we talk about something else quite cool. So share the link and we'll talk to you soon. Peace to the people and God bless. Thank you. Nice meeting you too, Vonnie. Thanks, Kisa. Y'all have a good one. Bye.